The crowd was roaring. The sun was blazing over Yankee Stadium. But something was off. The legend wasn't on the field. The locker room door creaked open, and what the coaches saw was almost too bizarre to believe. There, slumped over on a bench, was Babe Ruth. Shirt half off, sweat pouring down his face, surrounded by empty beer bottles and crumpled hot dog wrappers. 12 of them, maybe more. And then he stood up, because what happened next would become one of the most outrageous, unforgettable moments in sports history. It was 1925. Babe Ruth wasn't just a baseball player. He was a force of nature, a myth already being written in real time. Ruth didn't just hit home runs. He shattered expectations. But off the field, he lived wild. He partied harder than any movie star, ate more than any heavyweight, drank more than most sailors, and broke every traditional athletic rule in the book. And yet, he dominated the game, like no one else. But one particular afternoon would push even the Babe's legendary excess to its absolute limit. The Yankees were preparing for a big game. The stadium was packed. The air electric. Everyone waited for Ruth to appear from the tunnel, to swing his bat like a god, and put on another show for the ages. But he didn't come. The clock kept ticking. The announcers started whispering. The team was warming up, but their star was nowhere to be seen. Panic started brewing. Was he injured? Sick? Missing? No one had a clue, until a trainer decided to check the clubhouse. What he found would go down in baseball lore forever. There sat Babe Ruth, bare-chested, slouched over, with a belly bloated like a Thanksgiving turkey. The air reeked of mustard, sweat, and stale beer. On the ground were a dozen hot dog wrappers. Some say 12, others say it was 15, maybe even 20. The truth is, nobody really knows. And in Ruth's world, numbers had a way of turning into legends. But one thing was clear. He wasn't okay. The team doctor rushed in. The man was groaning, burping, moaning in agony. His face was flushed, and his stomach was revolting. The hot dogs, the booze, it was all catching up to him in the worst possible way. The doctor said, "There's no way he can play." The manager was already calling for a lineup change. Then Ruth looked up, eyes bloodshot but defiant. And he said something no one expected to hear. "I'm playing, and I'm going to hit a home run." Everyone thought he was out of his mind. But when Babe Ruth said something like that, you listened. You didn't bet against him. Because somehow, this man, this walking contradiction of excess and excellence, had a habit of doing the impossible. Still, it looked grim. Ruth could barely stand. He was helped into his uniform, holding his gut, grimacing with every step. The stadium had no clue what was happening behind the scenes, but Ruth walked toward that dugout like a gladiator heading into battle. By the time the fifth inning rolled around, the crowd was restless. The game was slow, tied, tense, and then it happened. A familiar figure emerged from the dugout. The crowd erupted. Babe Ruth was walking to the plate. But he didn't look like a champion. He looked like a man who had just been dragged out of an eating contest. His gait was sluggish, his face pale, his belly, well, let's just say it had seen better days. The pitcher on the mound smirked. Everyone thought they knew how this would go. First pitch came. Ruth didn't even swing. Second pitch. Ruth stared it down. And then the third. Crack. The "oh" sound echoed through the stadium like thunder. The ball soared high into the sky, arcing over the outfield like a meteor blazing across the night. The crowd gasped. The outfielders ran. But they had no chance. Home run. The place went ballistic. Fans leapt from their seats. Hats were thrown. People screamed his name. It wasn't just a home run. It was a miracle. A hot dog-fueled miracle. rounded the bases, slow and proud, every step a victory over logic and biology. By the time he touched home plate, he wasn't just Babe Ruth anymore. He was a living myth. What makes this moment so unbelievable isn't just the gluttony or the absurdity, it's the defiance. Ruth defied pain. He defied doubt. He defied the very idea that athletes need to be disciplined machines. Because he wasn't. And he never pretended to be. He was chaos in pinstripes. That day became a symbol of his larger-than-life persona. A man who lived on his own terms. A man who didn't play by the rules, and still won. Reporters later asked if it was true. Did he really eat all those hot dogs? Did he really drink that much? Ruth would just laugh. He never confirmed. He never denied. Because legends like him don't explain. They let the myth grow. To this day, no one knows exactly how many he ate. Some say it was 12. Some claim 20. Others believe he was trying to beat a personal record. But it doesn't matter anymore. Because the truth has already become something greater. That home run became one of the most bizarre, most inspiring, and most unforgettable moments in all of baseball history. It's retold in bars, stadiums, and podcasts as a reminder of the wild, wonderful madness of sports. And Ruth, he kept playing, kept smashing balls into the sky, kept living like there was no tomorrow. He didn't slow down. He didn't apologize. He didn't change. Because that was the magic of Babe Ruth. He wasn't just a player. He was a rebellion against everything athletes were supposed to be. He didn't count calories. He didn't follow curfews. He didn't hold back. And yet, when it mattered, when the game was on the line, he delivered. Every single time. So, the next time someone tells you greatness requires perfection, tell them about the 12 hot dogs. Tell them about the bellyache. Tell them about the pain. And then tell them what happened when that broken, bloated legend stepped up to the plate. Because it wasn't a sketch. It wasn't a dream. It was real. And it was glorious. This isn't just a funny sports story. It's a testament to the power of sheer will. It's about rising when you're down, performing when no one believes you can, and swinging for the fences, no matter what. Now it's your turn. Like this video if you believe that legends don't have to be perfect. Share it with someone who thinks athletes today are built different. And subscribe for more real stories that feel too wild to be true, but are, because we're just getting started. And remember, true giants don't follow rules. They write their own.